What is up, YouTube? It's SpookyLoopz, and I hope you're having a better day than I am. I do apologize, I'm a little under the weather today, so I'm getting a little bit of a scratchy throat. Anyways, I wish I was uploading something to the channel that was a new build or something involving new content or something a video that's just DBD, that's just fun to watch. But unfortunately, I am reporting and uploading a video about something that has been plaguing my stream, my community, in my time, really, for the past 2 or 3 months now. Dead by Daylight has a massive cheater problem. And I know for sure that every video game out there, regardless if it's any type of, shooter game or MMO or even Fall Guys, for instance, are plagued with cheaters as well too. And there's always somebody out there to try to go and get that competitive edge and stuff like that. But in DBD, there's really two, and I have seen both variations of them. More frequent than I would like to admit. I've been playing Dead by Daylight for going on almost 3.5 years now. And you see cheaters here and there, and actually one of my original uploads to this channel was me about playing against an entire cheater Swift. So they were kind of like a rarity. They were just something that would eventually just pop in and, they would harass you in the game and grief you and stuff like that. And once the game was over, it was a GG, go next and report and move on. But now it's to the point where I am encountering cheaters every third or fourth game that I play. The majority of the interactions that I have with these kind of individuals or this group of cheaters is when I'm streaming live on Twitch. And I think there's a really good reason as to why that happens, but it does happen offline too when I'm just recording for YouTube content. I'm trying to make a video, I'll encounter some cheaters. It's just not as much, but definitely more prominent when it comes to the streaming side. And there's two different types of cheaters. You have, on one hand, you have the cheaters that really don't give a shit, that are flying around the map, making it extremely blatant. You can't catch them. They're blinding you in all different types of angles. And then you have the subtle cheaters, and it's not just unique to the Fog Whisperer program. It's happening to a lot of other creators that are not a part of the program. And the reason is what's happening is you go into a game and you try your best to use all the new things that DBD is offering as far as the anonymous mode and streamer mode and the match delay mode, where essentially what it does, it delays your queue time, from my understanding, so that you can get into a game, so it's harder for people to stream snipe you, essentially. As far as my understanding, this cheater group is able to really just input and plug themselves into any lobby they want to. So what are the two different types of cheaters that are happening in this game? Well, on one hand, how a typical match with a cheater that is very blatant starts off is you won't notice it at first. You kind of get invested into the match like you normally would. And then you start noticing little subtle things. Maybe they're moving a little too fast, or you got stunned or blinded at an angle that just really didn't make sense. And so, you kind of keep going on with the match. Maybe it's you. Maybe you're just kind of a little paranoid about this cheater stuff happening, and then it gets progressively worse to the point where then once you call it out and you recognize that this person is cheating, and that's kind of usually when they pop the top off and they just let their entire config go wild. And a lot of it's usually a lot of audible and visual stuff that is very disorienting, making a bunch of blowing up gen noises and flying around the map and clicking and screaming and stuff like that. Very obnoxious shit, to be honest. And it's also, what sucks is there's also the survivors that are in there. If they're not a part of that, usually they'll just be like, yo, hook me and get me out, or disconnect. But then on the other hand, you have the other people that think, they look at it like a car crash where they can't look away, and they stay involved in the match. But they are unkillable. You cannot get them. Even if you have max stacks, say the best for last, you may be able to get them down, but there is literally nothing you're going to be able to do to end that match. Then on the other hand, you have the subtle cheaters, which me personally, I think are worse, because they're able to do things that kind of make you question your own sanity when you're playing in a game of Dead by Daylight, where it's just like, okay, well, you're chasing a survivor around, a relatively unsafe area, or maybe Shack, for instance, and you're dropping chase, and the chase is concluded, and the music stops, and you're wondering, like, yeah, maybe I just made a bad move, but I should be speeding up with Bloodlust. Just like slight little things like that, or generators getting done a little bit too quickly than normal, stuff like that. And those are kind of the worst, because they're kind of the closet cheaters, where they just do it just to get that little bit of an edge so that they can outperform you. Now, going back to the first type of cheater, the reason as to why I think myself and Otz and of other big creators more towards the top part of Dead by Daylight are getting consistently plagued by these cheaters is because they're going and they're advertising and soliciting their programs and cheats in front of a live audience. It's like a live demonstration for free. So the thing that frustrates me the most is out of all the hard work and hours and time and stress that I put into building this channel, whether it's on Twitch and YouTube over years, and just watching someone just essentially hijack my stream and I can't do anything about it. Some of you may not think that that's really a big deal. Okay, just disconnect, just go, GG, go next, just leave. But the problem is if I disconnect from the game, then I'm going to have a penalty for that. And then if they catch me again, then the penalty will just grow and grow over time to the point where I can't even touch the game. And that's a fucking problem, man. And I refuse, me personally, I refuse to disconnect. Actually, as a matter of fact, while you're watching and I'm recording this video right now, I'm going to switch scenes over here just so you know. This is me in a game. I've been in with this person for about an hour and a half now. The only thing that I can do in this situation is once the endgame collapse has been triggered and the timer goes down, usually you would imagine that the game ends. Unfortunately, it doesn't. The server collapses after 2 hours of total playtime. This is the second event in 1 week that I've had to do this because I refuse to disconnect. I would rather sit here right now with this cheater until that timer expires. One, because I refuse to take a DC penalty. And two, if I have them in here, they can't be out cheating and ruining somebody else's time. So it's kind of one of those things where you gotta think of the solution here. How does behavior fix a cheating problem? Well, obviously, one, get a better anti-cheat, right? But is that really gonna fix anything when in reality, they're just simply going to find ways to work around that? And there's also been a couple of other suggestions where, okay, well, make it so that after a certain amount of time, the end game collapse, once the end game collapse has concluded, then make it 2, 3, 5 minutes or whatever. After that, then the server automatically shuts down. But the problem is they control everything in the game. So if you don't get the end game collapse to trigger because they're consistently just blowing up generators so that the survivors can't finish them that are in the game that are willingly to try to leave normally, then what do? Do you make it so that the game has a total match time of 30 minutes? So if you don't want, regardless of if it's a cheater game or not, the game is going to close after 30 minutes. No match of DVD should last that long anyway, right? You got to think to yourself, what is the better approach? Are you willing, if they go and they take that angle, are you willing to sit there and deal with these shenanigans and this bullshit, quite frankly, for 30 minutes until it's over with? What I believe should happen is I believe they should remove the DC penalty for everybody. And everyone just disconnects. Then you can just go next consistently. Yeah, sure, that may mess up some things for queue times or whatever the case may be. But the most important part about all this is that you won't be subject to having to deal with this. And for me personally, it's gotten, and I am a fog whisperer. I am a part of the program where I am losing faith in this. And enough is enough. There's nothing. I'm growing tremendously tired of having to put everything that I'm doing as a career on halt because of this. So how does it get fixed? But there has been nothing. I have stated, just like Otzdarva has, I have stated my frustrations with this directly to the team. And I don't know what's going to happen next. But I can't even play the game. I can't even play the game. DC penalties need to be removed. They need to look into a better anti-cheat and try their best. I don't know, maybe go, I know Vanguard from the Riot client is the bee's knees. It's really good, but something needs to happen because there needs to be something that enforces the community to report cheaters and stuff like that in a positive light, because you can actually get some feedback back saying, yes, we took action on your report. Because right now it's a joke to everybody. And it's a joke to them. This person is not even here anymore. Yeah, I can run around the entire map right now. I can find the hatch, I can close it. But the game is in a stalemate, and there's nothing that I can do about it until the game closes. Hopefully I'll get a new video out to you guys in a couple of days. But I wanted to do something a little bit different and really let you guys in on what happens behind the scenes, or when I'm streaming, or when I'm trying to just simply just play a match and record some YouTube stuff for you guys. This is what happens. Hopefully it gets sorted soon. I'll catch you guys on the next one.